What up, gamers? Today we are here to talk about the new and evolving meta, the flavor of the week comp, which is Ghostly, which kind of came out of nowhere on the B patch. Didn't get changed on the patch notes at all, but it was a comp that was kind of flying under the radar for a while, and now it is being played a lot. Now, before we get into it, I ask you to stop. This is a new comp, and it is still being optimized. So in this video, I'm just going to give like a brief overview of the composition and talk about some of the strong suits and some things you want to look to play, and just kind of how to play it a little bit. But this comp has not yet been optimized because, again, it was like kind of an under the radar strategy, and all of a sudden today everyone is playing it, so there's really not good data on it. There'll be good data on this comp in a couple of days. So if I say something that's a little weird in here, after you're watching this like next week, then that's why. But here's the overview if you guys want to try to get on this tech early. So here is the base form of the comp. This is a reroll comp as well as a fast 8 or fast 9 comp, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So this is the core that you'll play every game minus Senna. So take Senna out of here. You'll play this comp pretty every game. If you're going to play Ghostly, you'll play all of these units pretty much, unless you have a bunch of emblems and it gets a little wild. Now, you can reroll or you can play for Kaisa. So let's talk about the reroll variation first here. So if you're going to reroll, and you would want to do this if you don't see other people contesting Ghostlies, and like maybe you called the comp and nobody's going for it. Now in my ELO, like there's like 4 people playing Ghostly each game a lot of times. So just if you see other people who are going to look to play Ghostly, even if they're not trying to play reroll Senna, it's just going to be way too hard for you to hit. So you probably shouldn't play that. Or if you see somebody trying to play Senna Nar, some loser, some guy who hasn't caught up with the meta, then maybe don't go for the comp. But a good time to go for the comp is if you're uncontested, or if there's like another like 2-cost reroller, like maybe a 2 healthy Teemo reroller and like a Janna reroller or something like that, then that's gonna be a very good time for you to try to play this comp as a reroll. So if you are going to reroll it, you want to put you're gonna reroll Shin and the Senna are the ones that you want to get as 3-star. The other ones you can also get as 3-stars, Caitlyn, Aatrox, and Jax are all fine as well. Caitlyn's probably the best of these 3, but if you have a lot of Aatrox, just go for the Aatrox. And then don't really care about Jax too much, but if you hit him, that's great. Alawi is just pretty impossible to hit. There's just not enough 3 costs, and there's a lot of people who contest for this unit. And this unit's just a good unit in a lot of comps, like to play mid game and stuff like that. So it's usually you're just not gonna be able to hit Alawi 3 unless people in your game just don't play the meta at all. So yeah, don't go for that. Now, if you are playing a 2-star variation of this build, which we will talk more about in a minute, the tank items go onto Alawi. They go there. At 2-star, Alawi is the tankiest of this bunch, and you're activating her trait. You're not even activating Shin's trait. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't need it. But if you're going for 3 stars, the items go on Shin. And if you elect to not, if you put the items on Shin and then like you don't think you're going to hit, you can just always move the items over later and you're good to go. So let's talk about some of the itemizations real quick. So Shin gets some Giga Tank items. You want to prioritize in this composition Shred. So Magic Trick, Ionic Spark. So damage from Ghostly applies as magic damage. Now there's a little bit of debate going on right now. I've seen some people say that it doesn't work. So this is wrong. Ghostly damage applies based on pre-mitigation damage, then gets mitigated as magic damage. But Asa, who I trust a lot more than a lot of other people who talk about this, he said previous tweet about Ghostly magic damage not being affected by MR is not correct. Prioritize Magic Shred in the vertical Ghostly comps. So I still trust this. Asa's like a math guy. Like he gets it, he gets into the math, he gets into the weeds. I'm not really a math guy, so I'm just going to go off of that. Again, we are still in kind of the optimization phase of this comp. That's why there's a little bit of debate. So I'm going to go with Asa and say that we build Shred, and it has always felt good when I built it. So you need an Ionic Spark in your comp, or you need a static Shiv somewhere. If you build a static Shiv, it'll usually just go onto the Caitlyn, or maybe you put it on your Morgana later if you don't have carry items for her. Cool. And then we just reroll this, and just talking about Senna back here. I like Sojin and Last Whisper because she still does physical damage. Now, obviously, she's going to deal a lot of damage through Ghostly like this, but I mean, still, this is going to be your best way to deal more damage. And I really like Sojin because she just needs to keep spamming her spell. She gets some crazy casts at the end of the fight when the Ghostly procs or the little ghoulies are on a bunch of things. You'd be good to go. And your third item is just whatever. So I always prioritize, I think it's just best to prioritize Magic Shred, tanky items, and then just build what you need back here for your dude back here. Yeah, and here we go. And there's the comp. And then once you hit the 3-star, once you hit 3-star Senna and 3-star Shin, you can kind of decide how you want to level that. If you have a lot of tempo, you maybe don't need to hit both. Maybe just hit one, you'd be okay. If you have a lot of health. But then you just push levels and you want to just prioritize getting to 8 and then put in the other Ghostly units. And then boom, bam, boom, Bob's your uncle. We're good to go. We'll upgrade these. And you're probably going to be stuck on 8 if you re-rolled. But if you can go to 9, you can go to 9. And the way that you can upgrade your comp is you swap out Jax for not this one. Swap out Jax for, where is he? It is the big man. It is Udyr. Swap it out for Udyr and swap it out for Set. And there we go. You can cap on that, or you can even cap on, you don't even care about the Warden, and you can cap on this. So yeah, so eventually we can swap out the Jax. So that's why the Jax 3 is really not important at all. And now let's go back and let's talk about what do you do if you are not going to play for Senna and you just want to play the 4 cost variation. So we'll still roll for the Senna board. We'll roll for this board minus Kayn and Morgana. I'm not going to take them off because they're going to come back on in a second. So we'll roll for this board, minus these 2, of course, and we'll just stabilize on this. And so then the carry that you play when you go to 8, it just depends on who you have the items for. So if you have items to play a Kai'Sa like you built for Senna, and you hit a Kai'Sa 2, you can play Kai'Sa. You can play Kai'Sa here, and Kai'Sa 2 without her trait is still going to be stronger than Senna 2 with her trait. So you can just play Kai'Sa 2 if you hit it here. If you build items to play Kai'Sa, and then when you go 9, you just add a Xayah, and you're good to go. You'll be good to go there. And like sometimes you can drop out a 6 Ghostly to play around the 2 trick shot, but 6 Ghostly is very strong. And then if you build items to play Morgana, or maybe you have Kayn carry. I don't trust Kayn as my primary, but if you build items more for Morgana, then you could just keep the Senna. And let's say you slam the items on Senna, just remake the Senna and then move the items over here. If you built like a Morello, Sojin, Deathcap or something like that, and you slammed it on your Senna, then cool, play it for Morgana. So if you end up needing to just play for 2 stars and then going to 8, you just prioritize the carry that you have the items for. Additionally, you can also, if you have like something like Rageblade, IE, stuff like that, like, you know, those type of items, you can totally just slot in Ashe here, and you can just play Ashe. And you can do some different tech where maybe you drop some of the ghostly units and you play a Moo and stuff like that, and play different units. Like you can cook a little bit there, but the base, you can just add that right there. And let me just add Kai'Sa back in here, or whoever. Anyways, pretty simple, guys. It's actually really easy comp, really easy to abuse. I'll talk a little bit about augments. Again, this is going to be more of stuff that it will come out in the stats later once people are actually playing these comps well. Early meta, it's like kind of hard to get data from stats, but things like 2 healthy and the reroll is extremely strong. If I get 2 healthy, I'll probably just guarantee reroll or just use the tempo and just keep the 2 costs on the board. You end up playing a lot of 2 costs the whole game. Ghostly Crest is super good because then you don't have to worry about playing Kayn and stuff like that. And if you end up having to play Kai'Sa, you can actually play your you can drop Caitlyn and you can, instead of Kayn, and you can play your trick shot here. So Ghostly Crest is very good. If you have multiple emblems and you can get to 8 is very strong. You usually need to be level 9 in order to play that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other augments that are really good and I'm not thinking about. The Haunted House one is good too if you know you're going to play the vertical. And you'll be good to go. So anyways, guys, this is the comp. Hope you guys learned. Hope you guys have fun playing this. I've been one-tricking it just because I think this comp is really fun. I haven't been winning a lot like when I've been one-tricking, but I just think it's really fun. Anyways, hope you guys learned and good luck climbing. I'll see you on the next one.